Bhadram karnebi shrunuyama deva Bhadram pashyem akshambhir yajatra Sthirai rangai stushtvamsas tanuvi Vyashema deva hitam yadayuhu Swastina indro vruddashrava Swastina pusha vishwaveda Swastina starksho arishtanemi Swastino brahaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying here Prashnopanishad of the Atharva Veda, and in the sixth questioner, he has asked only one question but in a different style, because the question goes to the very root of our discussion, and so he has told a story about it, that the prince came to me in forest and asked me, Prince Hiranyanaba of Kosala, he came and asked me, do you know the Purusha with 16 parts? That is what he asked. I told him that I do not know, etc. Then he was not convinced. Then I told him that if a person does not speak truth, he has to suffer. Then silently he went back. But that question has hit my heart like a thorn. So I am asking you. But he is asking is slightly different from what the Rajkumar had asked. He had asked, do you know the person with 16 parts? And he is asking, I am asking you, where is that Purusha with 16 parts? So where is means where we can experience him. Location of experience. It's a part of knowing that person. So if we know where he is located in our body or outside, where to search for him? That is the question he asked. And in reply, the Pippalada Muni started. We read that second mantra that day. Tasmai saha uvacha ihaiva antasharire somya sapurusho yasmin eta shodasha kala prabhavanti iti. So to him Pippalada said, here in the inner body that Purusha lives, from whom the 16 parts come out. So 16 parts Purusha. Purusha who has 16 parts. So the question. Now we change it to, in Hindi we say wala, the person who has 16 parts. And in reply he says, from whom the 16 parts are born. The person from whom 16 parts prabhavanti are born. That Purusha is within your inner body. So inner body means heart. Here itself. That means you don't have to go to forest to search for him. It is not outside. That is the first answer. And then the detail is that within, in the inner body, antasharir, inner body. So inner body refers to heart. Now we started reading the Shankar's commentary. Tasmai saha uvacha, to him he spoke, ihaiva antasharire. Now Shankar explains what is that antasharira. Hridaya pundarika kasha madhye, direct. In our heart, there is a lotus. Now we do not see it, but the yogis do see it. So it exists. Shankar himself is telling it exists in a subtle form. So inside in the inner body means in the Pundarika means lotus. In that there is some space, Akash. Inside that space, oh dear one, is Swami Sapurusha, that Purusha. So the implication is, Shankar says, na deshantare vigyayo. You do not have to go to some place to realize it. Yasmin eta uchamana shodasha kala pranadya bhavanti. So the kala names are not yet given. Kala means parts. First, let us understand here why parts are 16. Why the 16 parts are called kalas. So we know kalas somewhere. Moon has 16 kalas. This first you have to understand. Moon has 30 kalas according to our month. But they are the same. Whether Chaturdashi from here will be Prathama from there, Pratipada from there. So 15 kalas means Pratipada to Purnima. They will themselves repeat. Amavasya is a different color. So Amavasya and Purnima are not repeated. The other 14 this side, 14 that side. So 16 kalas is moon. So from the 16 kalas of the moon, parts are called kalas. Now, what are those kalas in relation to Purusha, which come out of him? Shankar here says, Uchamana, are to be told, or present participle, will be told now. Presently, which will be told presently. But he gives the first name, Pranadya. So the first kala, first born, first something coming out of Brahman is prana. What is this prana? We have studied in the 5 question answers. Prana is the life force. Prana is the Hiranyagarbha. Prana is called Brahma or Hiranyagarbha. The first sign that a man is living. So that is at first that comes out of Brahman. That means from the Nirguna Brahma, the manifestation starts. So when the manifestation starts, it's a Purusha with the cosmic mind. So Purusha with the cosmic mind is called Prana. It has various names, Sutratma, because it connects all the jivas like a thread. And it is called Prana because that is the life force. And it is called Brahma, the creator. He will create the remaining. And it is also called Hiranyagarbha. Hiranya means gold. Garbha means not womb, full of gold. You see, in a cloth, sometimes that golden threads are there. Yeah? So we call it jari. But if it is fully made of that, then we'll say Garbha Reshmi. Reshi means silk. Now sometimes in a cotton cloth there will be some silk thread. But it is fully silk, then we say Garbha Reshmi. So Garbha means the full substance. So Hiranya Garbha, the whole thing is shining like gold because consciousness is made there. This you have to understand a little. Samashti is more shining than individual. Why? Our first principal of the training center, Bhava Maharaj, used to say, traditional Vedantis, that if you have a lamp then the lamp gives light, but below the lamp there is shadow. Now, if you keep 10 lights together, there is no shadow, because this shadow of this lamp is lighted by the other lamp. This is the example they used to give. But I will give you much better example. These days, you have big halls for multi-purpose, and you create cabins by partitions, and no partition is up to the roof. Imagine just a little, visualize that it's a conical partition. Top is one point, and much below it there are no roofs, but much below it are the partitions. Okay. Now, in each cabin, suppose we do not put any light, we put mirror. The walls of the cabins are made of mirrors, and there is one strong light at the top corner. This you visualize. Now, a person sitting in a particular cabin will see the things in that cabin, but he will not see the things in the other cabin, because we have constructed other walls. So the individual is a limitation. And so the individual does not know what is in that body. Okay. Now cosmic is not only individuals plus plus plus. Individuals plus 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 without the walls. In our example, in the space above the partitions, somebody is sitting, or that light itself is looking, he can see all the rooms, all the chambers. Or suppose we are inside, but the hall without the partitions, that is cosmic. And hall with partitions is the individuals. And so the hall without partitions is full of light. And light is compared with golden shine. And the individuals that we are very much limited. So, Hiranyagarbha, these are the various names. And that he mentions as the first. And rest he is telling are being told now, Uchamana. Understood? Now he adds one word, Upadibhutavi. Upadi word we have explained, this something is not my real nature, but it appears to be my real nature, that is called Upadi. Otherwise, this Upadi is a technical philosophical term and everybody uses that without understanding that. So Upadi means, in common language, Upadi means the degree. His MA, his BA, that is not his real nature, that is something has come upon him. So Upadi means that which is not real, but appears to be our real nature, that is called Upadi. So here Shankar says, these 16 kalas coming out is not his real nature. They appear. Upadibhutavi. Now here, he draws a big line between the Nirguna and Sagun mind. So Sagun is all illusory, Upadibhutavi. That is how he starts. Upadibhutavi sakala iva nishkala purusho. Kala means part. Sakala means with parts. Nishkala means without parts. So the Purusha is Nishkala. Because it is infinite, it cannot have parts. Infinite can never be divided into parts. So the Purusha is Nishkala. But due to Upadis, it appears as if it is with parts. Sakala iva. Lakshate, indicated as this. How? Avidyaya. These are again technical words. Avidya means due to, not due to absence of knowledge, but wrong knowledge. Avidya is always, ignorance means wrong knowledge. If you do not know a thing, we know something about that thing which is not there. So, due to wrong knowledge, these kalas, the Nishkala Purusha appears Sakala with the help of Upadhis due to wrong knowledge. Now, one word here is Lakshyate. That means that Purusha, we want to know that Purusha. But Purusha can never be described in words because it is beyond everything. So what is the way for us? What is location we will see afterwards. But what is the upaya? How we can know him? If it is beyond everything, how we can know him? So the only way the Vedantists or the Rishis know is that first known to unknown. That is the only way of knowledge. Now what we know? We know the world. And so first know that the world is not independently real. He appears the world as real. He appears as the world. So we associate, we do not know him. So we know that world is an appearance of him, that we know. So first associate him with the world. Now here I told you little differently. See that he is with the world. We do not associate, but anyway, think that the world appears because of him. And then tell him that the world is not real. So we cannot call him associated with the world. But this is the way to know him, there is no other way. If the world was not there, if we were not perceiving the world, there was no way we could have known Brahman. How to know? It is beyond everything. How to know? But we know him to be the creator, preserver and destroyer of this world. And then we have to find that this world is only an appearance. But by the time we have reached him, we have reached him as creator, preserver and destroyer of the world. We have reached him. And then understand that he is not the creator, not the... That means there is no world to create. So this is called in Vedanta Adhyaropa Apavad. So we read the commentary and this is called indicated because we cannot see God. We cannot talk about God. So we indicate. In this way we indicate God. That think of him as creator, preserver and destroyer of the world, and then remove the idea of the world from your mind, you will get him. So this is indication. Go this way. That is the way. So, lakshate avidya iti tad upadhi kala adhyaropa apanayanayana. Kalas are his upadhis. Kalas is not his nature, but it appears to be his nature. And they are adhyaropita, superimposed upon him. That means we do not see him, we see the kalas. When we say superimpose, a snake is superimposed on the rope in our consciousness. Actually, no snake has come on the rope. But in our consciousness, in place of the rope, we see the snake. And if we remove that snake, if some light is thrown on that, snake is removed and then we see the rope. That is the only way to see God. So, clear? Adhyaropa, which is already there, apanayanena, by removing that vidyaya. How to remove that? By right knowledge. By wrong knowledge, we are seeing the upadis. By right knowledge, that upadis will vanish. So Purusha Kevalo. That Purusha is one without a second. The word Kevala is different in Sankhya, different in Vedanta. In Sankhya, Kevala means apart from Prakriti, not mixed with Prakriti. In Vedanta, Kevala means one without a second. There is nothing other than him. So that is the Vedantic idea of Kevala. So only that Purusha will remain. When the kalas are removed, Darshayitavya. In this way, the Guru shows to the Shishya. Guru indicates that Purusha by removing from the consciousness the kalas which are upadhis created by him but not real. So by removing that which is superimposed on Brahman, the Guru indicates the Brahman there. Iti kalanam tat prabhavatvam uchyate. That is why it is said that he created the kalas. Yasmin eta shodasha kala prabhavanti. Why it is said like that? That because the kalas are upadhis, and we see the kalas, we don't see him by wrong knowledge. So by right knowledge, if we can, this superimposition, if it can be removed, then you will be, that is the indication to catch him. For that sake, so is explaining the word prabhavanti. Prabhavanti word is explained as through that word is being indicated. Now, here this full stop, that day I told you, shift this full stop. Prabhavattam uchyate pranadinam. Here the full stop should come. So that is the style of Sanskrit language. Kala, Apnana, etc. Prana and others. Prana is already been told as the first created, and other things are from prana. So prana and other things are the upadhis, are the kalas, and removing them, we get him. Now, next sentence. Atyanta nirvisheshe advaye shuddhe tattve na shakyo adhyarupam antarena pratipadya pratipadanadi vyavaharaha kartum. That atyanta nirvishesh. That means if something is special about something, we indicate. This table is white. You understand table. This table is made of wood. We understand the table. So in Brahman, there is nothing which is any specific thing. Nirvishesha, atyanta nirvishesha. Advaya, one without a second. Shuddha. Shuddha means unadulterated. If there is something other than Brahman, that could be mixed with Brahman. But Brahman is one without a second. So there is no chance that something could be mixed with Brahman. So it's pure. This is called purity. Shuddhe tattve. Tattva means real nature of things. So in such a tattva, and we have to do? We have to tell about him. So we have to make it pratipadya, something to be told about. Pratipadaka, that means the sentences to tell about that. Now this vyavahara is not possible in such Shuddha Advaita Tattva, other than create superimpositions and remove them. Now here, not create upadhis, but show that is the Adharopa. That Adharopa is already there. What he told previously, that itself is making clear that Adharopa are removed, then only, that is the only way. Adharopam antarena, without that. other than that, Pratipadya Pratipadanadi Vyavahara Kartum na Shakyo. So this Vyavahar, this relation of telling about something is not possible about Brahman unless we get this idea that Adhyayas is there and we have to remove it. Iti kalanam prabho sthiti appaya aropyante. So it is being told that he is the creator, preserver and destroyer of the kalas. Aropyante, superimposed. Avidya vishayaha. That means these kalas are subject to, object of, whatever you like to call it, our wrong knowledge. Otherwise there will be no kalas. So in our wrong knowledge, kalas are there, and by telling that they are associated with Brahman, as superimposed on Brahman, they are. And by asking us to remove that in the mind, in our consciousness, that is the only way in which he can be indicated. So, Pippalada, what he replied, why he replied, what he meant has been explained here. Chaitanya avyatireka. One more explanation. Chaitanya avyatirekena eva hi kala jayamana tishtantya praliyamana cha sarvada lakshante. Lakshante means we see that. We always see that without consciousness, the kalas cannot be born, cannot stay, cannot go into pralaya. So from Brahman, the one central point has been picked up, consciousness. So Chaitanya avyatirekena, other than consciousness, the kalas cannot be born, cannot stay, cannot vanish, other than consciousness. That is what we see always. Now take pralaya. Everything vanishes. Does it leave behind zero? It cannot. So, earth goes into its cause, water. Water goes into its cause, air. Water goes into its cause, teja. Teja goes into air. Air goes into akasha. Akash goes back into Chaitanya. From Chaitanya, Akash had come. So, that is what we see, pralaya. And Atmana Akasha Sambhuta. So this Akasha had come out of Atman. And from Akasha, etc., everything had come. And when they stay, when the world is there, imagine God is not there. Imagine. Imagine there is no consciousness. Then the world cannot stay. Continuity of the world and the very existence of the world depends upon what consciousness supporting it. If I am not conscious, how do I know there is world? If nobody is conscious, how is the world known? So the staying of the world is also due to consciousness. We have explained in short all the three things. Pralyamanascha sarvada lakshante. So this is the full statement of what Pippalada told you. Now, ata eva bhranta kechit. Shankar says, due to error, some people. That means what the different philosophers are talking about Brahman and world, that is being now refuted. Then only we will know the correct knowledge. So, ata eva bhranta kechit agni sanyogat ghrutam eva ghatadi akarena chaitanyam eva Pratikshanam jayate nashyati iti. Take ghee, and ghee melts. And ghee can take some other shapes because of fire in it. Agni sanyogat ghrutam iva. Now the example is slightly odd, but we have to understand it. Brahman becomes ghada, jar. It takes a shape. So that Chaitanya itself is being born. Like that, some people think that Chaitanya itself is born every moment and gets destroyed every moment. So there is no scope of staying for some time. Pratikshanam jayate nashyati iti. So, who are they? Some type of Buddhas. Okay. Now, you have to put numbers here. Huh? First, philosopher. Second, tan nirodhe shunyamiva sarvam iti apare. Apare means some others. So, now when everything is gone, nothing is there. So, the reality is of the nature of zero. Some people say like that. Some people say Brahman itself is born and dies. Some people say that is not possible, so everything is zero. Third, Ghatadi Vishayam Chaitanyam Chetayitur Nityasya Atmano Anityam Jayate Vinashyati iti apare. These are Nyayayakas, Nyaya philosophers. Now, what do they think, Nyaya philosophers? Atman has no consciousness. Mind has no consciousness. When Atman and mind are combined, consciousness is born. And after it is born, it stays in the Atman. That is the Nyayaka philosophy. You know, their mukti means we lose all sensation. Jada mukti. No consciousness. Because they think consciousness is there, then pain and sorrow will be there. So, no consciousness in Atman. Huh? No.
What is this word?
First is that Chetan itself is born and dies. Second is that if this is not true, then it is zero. Second is when Shunyavadis. Third is Nayayikas. They are telling Chaitanya original. And this
Chaitanyam Chetayituhu.
Ghatadi Vishayam Chaitanyam. Consciousness about the jar. Chetayitur Nityasya Atmano Anityam. Atma is the cause of this Ghata Chaitanya. And if that is Nitya, then there is an Anitya Chaitanya. That means that due to combination Chaitanya is born. If it is born, it is Anitya. So that Ghata Chaitanya is the Anitya Chaitanya of the original Chaitanya. And that is born and dies. world is born and destroyed means that secondary Chaitanya is born and destroyed. That is the Nayayika. Chaitanyam, fourth now. Chaitanyam Bhuta Dharma iti Lokayatika. Lokayatika means Charvakas. Why they are called Lokayatikas? The most popular philosophy. Common man's philosophy. So he says, this body is conscious. Bhuta Dharma. Bhuta means matter. So Chaitanya is a quality of the matter. Why you seek some Chaitanya? Okay. Fourth. Huh? So four statements are given. And now Vedantic statement is being. What Vedanta says is being told now. Anapaya upajana dharmaka chaitanyam atma eva. Atma is Chaitanya. How? Not being born or died. Nama rupadi upadi dharmai pratyavasate. Nam rupa are upadis. That means Nam has no reality. It is a blank sound. And Rup is ever-changing. It is not real. But through these, Brahman appears. Nama Rupa Upadi Dharmaihi. Upadi, Dharma are Nam and Rup. Upadi means the whole world. That characteristic of the whole world is names and forms. And from that, Pratyavabhasate, he appears. Brahman appears as different objects of the world through names and forms which are upadis. Atma is only Chaitanya, but through names and forms it appears as the world. This is what the scriptures are telling. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad. If you go into detail of it, that itself become object. But in Taittiriya, it is explained. Prajnanam Brahma, Aitariya Upanishad. So consciousness is Brahman. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Consciousness and bliss, that is Brahman. Vijnana Ghana Eva, Brihadaranyaka again. That Vijnana itself solidified is Brahman. Vijnana itself, nothing else. So Vijnana Ghana. Ityadi Shrutibhya. So Shrutis are telling like this. Swarupa Vyavichareshu Padartheshu Chaitanyasya Avivicharat Yatha Yatha Yo Yah Padartho Vigyayate Tatha Tatha Gyayamanatvad Eva Tasya Tasya Chaitanyasya Avyavicharitvam. He is now explaining through logic. Shruti has quoted, now he is explaining them. Padarthas, that means things of this world. You know this word, padartha? I have explained sometimes. No, if a thing is real, we call it vastu. And padartha, meaning of a word. The meaning of the word padartha is meaning of a word. As soon as you utter a word, some meaning comes to your mind. That real or unreal, we have not checked. So, how are the padarthas? Swarupa Vyavichari. They go on changing their nature. But in those padartha, the consciousness is unchanged. Padarthas are the forms of consciousness. And consciousness never changes. Their shape changes. Their swarupa changes, but not the consciousness. So, that is how we know things. We know this as a bottle. That means there is a consciousness in the bottle. but it has taken the bottle form. It will take some other form. So that is how we know things. Understood? And as we know, the thing is born. That means when we know, then only the thing comes into existence. For us, thing comes into existence only when we know it. So consciousness is in us. Consciousness is in that thing. Consciousness in that thing changes forms. But we know it only when we are conscious of it. So consciousness is not changing. You have to understand this consciousness point. Morning we were discussing now. I see this table. I know that I see this table. If I close my eyes, I do not see the table. I know that I do not see the table. So this knowing portion is consciousness. And that never changes. I may not see, but I know that I am not seeing. So consciousness is unchanging. Tasya chaitanyasya avyavicharitvam. Now he takes up the Adhyayas. What do we call in English? You see, God is there, but we cannot know him. That is Adhyayas. Huh? Agnostics. So, the agnostics are telling now, Vastu tattvam bhavati kinchit. There may be some reality. Na gyayate, but it is not known. Iti cha Shankar is telling, to say like this is illogical. How do you say Vastu is there? Unless you are conscious of it, how do you say that it is there? So it is illogical to say that Vastu is there, but we do not know it. A direct hit on the agnostics. Iti cha anupapannam. So to say that a thing exists, but it is not known, is totally illogical. Example he gives. There is a form. I see a form, but I do not know it. It is as foolish as that. That means I feel there is a reality, but I do not know him. It's just like I see a form, but I do not know. So the agnostic's position, in a common language, I will tell you. Now, a man in a military, he wanted to get discharged. Now there, unless there is something serious physical disability, he will not be discharged. So when they are on the field, he tells his captain, sir, that tree is there, na? At a distance. The captain says, where? I do not see that tree. On that tree, that nail has been hit. I do not see that nail. Well, the captain does not see the tree itself. That means you posit God when you deny it. That tree I do not see. So all the agnostics posit God and then they deny. That is this Shankar has given the example. That some form I see, but I do not know whether it exists or not. You know the agnostic's prayer? My God, if you exist, please remove my miseries if you can. So that is the agnostic position. Important thing, huh? Common man's I do not know. Now what is happening here? Huh? Vyavicharati to jnayam. That object is changing. Na jnanam vyavicharati. That knowledge, point of knowledge, that does not change. It takes a form, does not take a form, it takes another form, but the knowledge element is not changing. Jnanam na vyavicharati. Kadachit api jnayam. Na jnanam vyavicharati kadachidapi jnayam jnaya abhave api jnayantare bhavat jnanasya. So the thing, name may be changing. Huh? Now, if there is nothing to be known, that means if jnaya is absent, we will know something else. Knowledge is not going. Jnaya abhave api jnayantare bhavat jnanasya. Bhavat means positive existence. So knowledge is present. If not about this thing, then about that thing. Nai jnane asati jnayam nama bhavati kasyachit. If knowledge is not there, then object cannot exist. Object we know only by knowledge. So if knowledge is not there, objects are unknown. But if objects are unreal or changing, knowledge is not touched. So knowledge works independent of objects. Objects cannot have existence unless we know them. Example, Sushupte Adarshana. In deep sleep, no objects. But knowledge does not go. I know nothing. Not that I do not know. I know. But there was no object to be known. Now, a semi-objection. Jnanasyapi sushupte abhavat gayavat jnanaswarupasya vyavicharayati chet. Because he has taken the example of deep sleep. So, the Purvapakshi feels that in sleep, jnana also is absent. So, as you are telling, the jnana changes, so jnana also changes. Because in Sushupti it is not present. Now, he illustrates through an example, Prakash. Na, Geya Avasakasya Jnanasya Alokavat Geya Abhivanjakatvat Swavyanga Abhava Aloka Abhava Anupapattivat Sushupte Vijnana Abhava Anupapatte. To say that in Sushupti Jnana is not there is illogical. Light is there. And it is light which is showing some object. Suppose some object is not there, do you mean to say light is not there? We do not see, example I will give. Sun. We cannot see sunlight. We see only when it shines on the dust particles. So if dust particles are not there, earth is not there, how will you see sunlight? But that does not mean sunlight is not there. There are no objects to reveal. Like that in Sushupti, there are no objects to reveal. So jnana is still present there. Sushupte vijnana abhava anupapatte. So vijnana abhava is not there in Sushupti. Nai andhakare chakshusha rupa anupalabdho chakshusha abhava shakya kalpayitum vainashikena. So that was the Vainashika position. Now Shankara gives another example. It is darkness. Can you say that eyes are not there? So condition for knowledge, sometimes condition. So condition is such that in sleep there is no object to see. You cannot say that knowledge is not there, just like eyes are not there if it is darkness. I think here we will have to stop because I can read. Vainashiko, now he is entering subtle arguments with the Vainashikas. Vainashiko ge abhave jnana abhavam kalpayati eva iti chet. The Vainashikas say that if objects are not there, jnana is not there. That is the kalpana. What about that?
Vainashik is Nyayika.
Vainashik means Buddhist who imagine that everything is destroyed. It appears, but it is destroyed. They stress upon the pralaya aspect. What is the reality? Everything goes to pralaya. So nothing. That is Vainashik. Yena tad abhavam kalpayet tasya abhavakena kalpyate iti vaktam Vainashikena. One answer to all the Buddhists from Shankaracharya. If you say that jnana is not present, who is telling me? He knows that the jnana is not present, then jnana is present. So he should tell me who is imagining that jnana is not present. Now, jnana is not present, is abhav. Now, who will know that abhav unless there is jnana? So, that Vainashika position does not stand. Tad abhavasyapi jnayatvat. That means there is no knowledge is also known. So jnana absent cannot be understood. Right? Okay? Jnanasya jnaya avyatiriktvatvat gaya bhave jnana bhava iti chet. He says knowledge is identical with the object. And so if the object is not there, jnana is not there. Understood? Just a logic. No, abhavasyapi gayatva abhyapagamat. That abhav also is something known. That point is emphasizing. Abhav is also known. Abhavopi neyo abhyupagamyate vainashikena. So the Vainashik also says that abhav, so he knows that abhav. Nityasya tad vyatiriktam chet jnanam. So Vainashiks have thought of abhav as something to be known and permanent. Abhav is permanent there, na? Vainashik. So that also he is imagining. Tad abhavasya cha jnanatmakatvad abhavatvam vangmatram. Now that abhav also is known. It means abhav is only a name. When it is known, it is there. So to call it abhav is only a word. It is not abhav. Abhav also is jnanatmaka. That means filled with knowledge. Because I know it. So to call it abhav is only a word. Vangmatrameva. Na paramarthato. It is not ultimately real. Abhavattam anityattam cha jnanasya. So knowledge is never absent, never anitya. न च नित्यस्य ज्ञानस्य अभाव नाम मात्र अध्यारोपे किंचित न छिन्नम. So jnana is nitya, and you give it a name abhav. So abhav name is superimposed upon knowledge. It does not matter to us at all. Our position remains unchanged. You call it abhav, you call it anitya, but it is always there. So giving the name abhav does not matter to us. Now, reverse argument, Buddhist. न तर्हि ज्ञेय अभावे ज्ञान अभाव. He says that objects are not there, then jnana will never be non-absent. This is statement of Siddhanti. अथ अभावोपि ज्ञेयोपि सन ज्ञान व्यतिरिक्त इति चेत्. Oh, this I have missed. So, let the abhava be known, but it is different from knowledge. Abhava is known, but it is not knowledge. To that Siddhanti replied, then in the absence of jnana, knowledge is not absent. If it is different, let it go. Jnana is not gone. So if you take it is object is different from knowledge, then whether it stays or not, jnana is there. Now a peculiar position is taken. Geyam jnana vetiriktam natu jnanam geya vetiriktam iti chet. Object is different from knowledge, but knowledge is not different from object. If such a position we take, okay, from here, next time. Om Badram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Deva Badram Pashe Makshabhir Yajatra Stirai Rangai Stushtavanshas Tanubi Vyashema Deva Hitam Yadayu Swastina Indro Vruddashrava Swastina Pusha Vishwaveda Swastina Starksho Arishtanemi Swastino Brihaspati Dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.